Davis taught me to never be afraid because I was so terrorized by him. He sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again, well, we can't say that on public radio, what I may do to someone. If Clive Davis, if his plan was to destroy my career, it didn't work.
And she was this big, beautiful woman who always wanted to find love, you know? And I felt so bad for her because her life wasn't giving her many choices, and that kept her sad.
I have also been in the past, letting other people do that. Those who claim to have been the experts, and I got burned, and I'm skeptical.
She was majestic, she was vocally excellent. She never achieved perhaps the greatness of success.
And we were close like this, but
really?
Oh yeah, she and my sister Jackie, they used to hang out together. My sister was a wild child, and so was Phyllis.
Baby. Oh, you know what? I heard you guys whispering back. I said something's gonna happen, something special. Thank you, Phyllis. Come and sit down. I gotta go. Sit down.
Are you happy? It depends. It also depends on when you ask. No, not particularly.
Did he struggle with the idea of coming out publicly? Was that something that you talked about at all?
He did not want his mother to be, although she might have known, but he wasn't going to come out and say this to the world.
Going on, it was just something that whether you could be attracted to the person.
What I just told you applies to 7 people. How they all end up with that. That's part of what you get. I came in this business saying I was going to expose.
My friend Luther was gay.
He struggled with the idea of coming out publicly. Was that something that you talked about at all?
But he wasn't going to come out and say this to the world. And he had a lot of lady fans.
Are you in a good place now in your life?
Depends on when you ask me whether or not it's a good place.
Are you happy?
It depends. It also depends on when you ask.
The matter is, we watched this nigga get murdered right in front of our own face. And the nigga knew it was finna happen. He told us, and we didn't know.
It might also be said that there's nothing funnier than a black guy in a dress.
Why? Because you know, ain't nobody gonna sleep with him. You only got Tiffany Haddish. She been doing comedy since she was 16.
He loved eating, he loved food.
He wouldn't eat to fill that void.
What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah? Jermaine Dupri, king of the you ask me, baby. Shit. Jermaine Dupri, small as a child. That's why you never see the product suffer, because I am the product. That's why he never is nowhere re-upping, because he is re-upped.
I owe you a dinner, man. I owe you a dinner. I obviously can't afford to get anything else.
Like I told Puffy, I don't let men take me out, sir. I'm good. Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Kid, I need to know. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We were in the studio. He said, yo, I'm a drug their south and pick them out and pip them out to my Nick.
Not afraid about being blackballed again? These are some power people.
These people are not powerful. Satan can't create anything. That includes blessings for his people. You know what the #1 job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. But I'm not scared of being the competition. Yeah, on paper, they're a better team. They have all the assets and resources and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. I guarantee you it won't. All of these shortcut takers, they canceled me for talking about Harvey Weinstein before the thing came out, but he offered to suck my in front of all my people at my agency. I told him no, what y'all do? And this is why when I walk in a room, heads go down. Behind my back, I'm nothing. I'm just a regular old comedian, but in my face, no, no, no. The king has walked in and they have to respect it only because I'm not taking the shortcuts. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. I'm trying to have a conversation that's not being had. And I'm really sorry that these conversations are being had by a comedian. I wish, too, that it was a religious leader of some kind having this conversation.
I didn't like that sort of racial approach that if you were African American, you could not go to top 40 first.
It's not like I want to leave. I just want to, talk about this thing and see if we can't make it more fair. Of course, they wouldn't change, because if they changed, they wouldn't really exist.
I met Prince when I was 12.
Where did you meet Prince when you were 12?
In Dayton. After he performed at UD Arena. Yeah, I mean, I knew him my whole life. He let me know that you could be short and light-skinned with long hair, and people could make fun of you, but as long as women loved you.
Phyllis Hyman made a shocking revelation about Clive Davis. Was there a hidden warning? Many believe she was subtly signaling Prince about it. Phyllis Hyman, steadfast in her belief that women shouldn't tolerate any nonsense, faced a tumultuous journey in the music industry, despite her immense talent and success. Her path was littered with unseen challenges and hardships. It suggested that she had deep insights into the industry's inner workings, possibly shared by Clive Davis, and she tried to caution Prince about these. These insights might have contributed to her own struggles. Phyllis Hyman's voice in Living All Alone truly tugs at the heartstrings. It's one of those timeless songs. Her career spanned decades but felt tragically short. Despite her radiant talent, she faced significant personal and professional hurdles as a Black woman in the music industry, making her journey even more arduous. Consider Whitney Houston, who battled her own public struggles. Phyllis faced similar battles, but lacked the industry's support she deserved. Phyllis Linda Hyman was born on June 6, 1949, as the eldest of 7 siblings, and was raised in the vibrant St. Clair Village neighborhood on Pittsburgh's South Side. Her father, a World War II veteran, and her mother, a waitress at a local nightclub, set the stage for her upbringing. Growing up in St. Clair Village, nestled in Pittsburgh's South Hills, Phyllis's musical journey began with formal training after leaving her hometown. Following graduation, she embarked on a national tour with the group New Direction in 1971. After the group disbanded, she joined All the People and collaborated with another local group, the Hondo Beat. She even made an appearance in the film Lenny in 1974. From the outset, Phyllis stood out with her incredible voice, a true standout talent. She honed her skills singing in the choir at Carrick High School, where her music teacher, Dave Tamberry, recognized her exceptional talent and arranged private voice lessons to nurture her gift. After graduating, Phyllis Hyman earned a music scholarship to Robert Morris College, becoming its first recipient. However, after just 1 year, she made the bold decision to leave college and fully pursue her musical aspirations. During those formative years, Phyllis immersed herself in the vibrant music scene, exploring different bands and groups. She formed a trio called Sound of Ebony, dedicated to using music as a tool for social consciousness. Later, she joined a jazz sextet named New Direction, where she truly honed her skills. Standing tall at 6 feet with a striking presence, Phyllis was a commanding figure in any room she entered, known for her humor, boldness, outgoing nature, and quick wit. Her charm and banter were as captivating as her singing talents. Once she stepped onto the stage and opened her mouth to sing, the audience was immediately captivated. But Phyllis was always seeking new musical adventures. After her time with New Direction, she packed her bags and headed to Miami to join another band called All the People. She was always chasing that next big musical endeavor. Settling into the bustling scene of the Big Apple, Phyllis and The Factor found a regular gig at Russ Brown's, a popular joint on the West Side known for its delicious food and jazz vibes. And let me tell you, the audience was legendary. Big names like Ashford and Simpson, Stevie Wonder, and even George Harrison would pop in for a listen. One fateful night, jazz musician Richard Clay rolled through with producer Norman Connors in tow. Connors was impressed. He promised Phyllis he'd have her in a recording studio within a week or two. That's the kind of break any musician dreams of. Connors was true to his word, and soon Phyllis was in the studio recording a cover of the Stylistics classic Betcha by Golly Wow. putting her own soulful spin on it. But that wasn't all. Phyllis also teamed up with Michael Henderson for a duet called We Both Need Each Other, which they nailed. Seeing the success of her cover of Betcha by Golly Wow, Phyllis caught the attention of Buddha Records, who wasted no time signing her. In 1977, she released her debut album, simply titled Phyllis Hyman. It was a hit. One of the standout tracks, Loving You, Losing You, climbed to number 32 on the R&B charts, solidifying Phyllis's place in the music scene. Another single from the album, No One Can Love You More, also made waves, peaking at number 58. Enter Clive Davis, the influential president of Arista Records. Clive had a reputation for finding talent and shaping them into stars. But Phyllis wasn't about to be molded. She knew exactly who she was as an artist and wasn't willing to compromise. Clive, however, had other ideas. He saw potential for Phyllis to cross over into mainstream success and wasn't backing down. He took control of her third album, Somewhere in My Lifetime, even bringing in Barry Manilow to produce the title track. While the single reached a respectable number 12 on the R&B charts, for Clive, that just wasn't enough. He was used to seeing his artists hit the top 5 and sell millions of records. This sparked a tug of war between artistic integrity and commercial success. For her fourth album, Clive Davis switched things up by bringing in R&B producers James M. Toome and Reggie Lucas. The lead single, You Know How to Love Me, dropped in October 1979 and made a significant impact, reaching number 12 on the R&B chart. The album itself was a hit, selling 400,000 copies and becoming Phyllis's most successful record to date. Things were looking up for her personally as well. She married her longtime partner and producer Larry Alexander the year before. It seemed everything was finally falling into place for the talented songstress. However, despite the success of her fourth album, Phyllis found herself facing pushback from the label and Clive Davis himself. She spoke briefly but directly about Clive Davis, saying, "Clive Davis taught me to never be afraid because I was so terrorized by him. Whether he meant to do it or not, I'll never know. But he sure taught me that if you try to terrorize me again, well, we can't say that on public radio. What I might do to someone who tries to hurt me like that again in this business, I'm not having it. I should be respected as I respect. And I will not have someone try to ruin my spirit and ruin my career. If Clive Davis's plan was to destroy my career, it didn't work." This left her feeling frustrated and exhausted. Adding to her woes, Arista started signing more female artists, including big names like Angela Bofill, Dionne Warwick, and Aretha Franklin. Suddenly, Phyllis felt she was getting lost in the shuffle. On top of industry pressures, Phyllis began experiencing bouts of depression. Mental health struggles were not new to her, and the pressures of fame were starting to take their toll. A glimmer of hope appeared when she was noticed by the arranger for the musical Sophisticated Ladies while singing at a local jazz club. Phyllis auditioned and landed the role of Etta. Though Clive wasn't thrilled about her Broadway venture, Phyllis saw it as an opportunity to showcase her talents in a new light and connect with a fresh audience. In the midst of her Broadway success, Phyllis released her fifth album. Clive Davis brought back Norman Connors, resulting in the album on the R&B charts, marking Phyllis's first top 10 hit. Despite this achievement, Phyllis was still dissatisfied with the direction her label wanted her to take. There was immense pressure to produce commercial hits, leading to frequent clashes over creative control. Phyllis wanted to work with musicians and producers of her choice, while Davis preferred bringing in hitmakers. Phyllis once said, "There is a deep connection between part of my loneliness and my music. If you listen to some of the words in my songs, I sing about a lot of pain, which is something I know a lot about." After nearly a decade together, Phyllis divorced Larry Alexander in 1982, losing her partner, manager, and producer. It was a tough blow, but she pressed on. Unfortunately, more troubles were on the horizon. Her sixth album, Goddess of Love, was a disaster, highlighting how out of touch Arista was with Phyllis Hyman. Clive Davis brought in producer Narada Michael Walden and several others, resulting in a mishmash of conflicting genres. The lead single, Riding the Tiger, barely made an impact, peaking at number 30 on the R&B charts. The album itself peaked at a lackluster number 20. As the battles between Clive and Phyllis raged on, it became clear they were at odds. Phyllis resisted Clive's attempts to mold her into his vision of the next big thing. She had spent years honing her craft and knew who she was as an artist, but Clive failed to recognize her talent and the significance of R&B and jazz to the Black community. Instead, he opted to whitewash his Black artists. Managers Glenda and Sydney tried to mend the fractured relationship between Phyllis and Clive, but Clive had shifted his focus to a rising star named Whitney Houston. Arista ultimately dropped Phyllis, leaving her to navigate an uncertain future in the music industry as Clive began to dominate Whitney Houston's career. Clive Davis is a highly influential figure in the music industry, known for his power and success. He launched Arista Records, signing numerous major Black acts and showcasing his talent for spotting potential. His impressive roster included Patti Smith, The Outlaws, Eric Carmen, Exposé, Ace of Base, Air Supply, Dionne Warwick, Ray Parker Jr., and Radio, Aretha Franklin, and Alicia Keys. Davis also played a key role in launching Puff Daddy's career by establishing Bad Boy Records. However, his most significant success came from discovering and nurturing Whitney Houston's career. Astounded by Houston's exceptional singing talent and wholesome image, Clive recognized the opportunity to launch her into superstardom. This move not only greatly benefited Whitney, but also significantly boosted Clive Davis's net worth, reportedly close to $800 million. However, as Whitney navigated the complexities of the music industry, she began noticing peculiar and unsettling occurrences. In a 2002 interview with Diane Sawyer, Whitney openly addressed the challenges she faced and her personal struggles, shedding light on the darker aspects of the industry. Whitney appeared uneasy and cautious, revealing a sense of inner conflict and acknowledging her battles with personal demons. During the interview, Whitney discussed her disputes with Clive Davis and suggested a conspiracy against her, inadvertently making herself vulnerable. Exploiting her past struggles with addiction, individuals sought to undermine her credibility and discredit her revelations. Some suggest the same tactics may have been used against Prince. His revelations about Hollywood took a darker turn when he was found dead in an elevator, an incident that Dave Chappelle noted as especially eerie. According to Chappelle, Prince was always upfront and expressed his views boldly, making him difficult to control. From an outsider's perspective, it appears that someone hard to rein in was taken out of the picture. Chappelle memorably explained to Tonight Show host Jimmy Fallon what it was like being featured on the cover of Prince's September 2013 single, Breakfast Can Wait. He described it as a Prince judo move, jokingly asking what he could do. Sue Prince for using a picture of him dressed up like Prince? Chappelle saw it as checkmate. Prince, the legendary artist, passed away at 57, found unresponsive at his Minnesota estate. The official cause was an accidental fentanyl overdose from counterfeit Vicodin laced with a strong synthetic opioid. But many were left with lingering questions that remain unanswered. With Shannon displaying his fanboy admiration for Prince's unparalleled talents, his mastery of multiple instruments, his mesmerizing performances encompassing singing and dancing, Cat Williams nods along, affirming that Prince was indeed in a league of his own. He goes further, hinting at the depth of their bond by suggesting he knew Prince his entire life. Cat spills the beans on their profound connection, sharing glimpses of their discussions on everything from lyrics and music to women and cars. Prince's car collection is not just about vehicles, it's intertwined with stories, and Cat Williams is part of that narrative. They were in sync on the essentials: musical genius, appreciation for the ladies, and naturally a love for those sweet rides. Cat even hints at how they supported each other through various challenges, especially in navigating the harsh realities of the music business. When Cat Williams hints that he knows the real story behind Prince's death, it's not just idle speculation. He shared more than a few laughs with the legendary artist and offered insights during a 2022 interview with Arsenio Hall. Cat revealed that Prince had a profound influence on him, inspiring him to spend 5 years as a rapper before transitioning to comedy. Their connection began when a young Cat met Prince at the tender age of 12 in Dayton, Ohio, where Prince was performing at the University of Dayton Arena. According to Cat, This encounter marked the beginning of a lifelong connection, with Prince serving as a guiding force. He credits the legendary singer for boosting his self-esteem and attributes his confident swagger to Prince's influence. In his trademark style, Kat shared that Prince was always a high thinker, always steps ahead of the curve. While we all know Prince was a musical genius, playing more instruments than most of us can name, Kat suggests that Prince also imparted lessons about embracing one's uniqueness. Fans are connecting the dots between Kat's statements about Prince always being 30 steps ahead and the cryptic remarks Prince made before his passing. They're piecing together theories suggesting that maybe Kat knew something Prince did, something sinister. Speculation is swirling, hinting at potential plots against Prince. Prince was notorious for dropping cryptic lines, and some believe he might have confided in Kat. Let's delve deep into the theories surrounding Prince's death. Some believe the official reports are nothing but a pile of lies. Prince's insights into Hollywood took on a more ominous tone when he tragically passed away in an elevator. The circumstances of his death were particularly eerie, given Prince's known apprehensions about elevators, as depicted in a video from E.T. Prince's friend L.A. Reid discussed the unsettling discovery of Prince's lifeless body in an elevator. According to Reid, Prince had a strange fear of elevators, which makes his passing in one seem even more suspicious. According to E.T., Reid shared that Prince believed elevators were sinister, often referring to them as instruments of the devil. This perspective was encapsulated in his 1984 song, Let's Go Crazy. In the song's lyrics, Prince likened elevators to malevolent forces trying to bring a person down. He sang about the struggle to ascend by pressing a higher floor button, symbolizing his defiance against the negative influence he associated with elevators. And if the elevator tries to bring you down, go crazy, punch a higher floor. If you don't like the world you're living in, take a look around you. At least you got friends. You see, I called my old lady for a friendly word. She picked up the phone, dropped it on the floor, is all I heard. Are we gonna let the elevator bring us down? Oh no, let's go. Reid recounted a conversation with Prince about his feelings on elevators, which left Reid uncomfortable as it delved into the topic of the devil. The news of Prince's death in an elevator at his residence and studio, Paisley Park, deeply perturbed Reid. Reflecting on a private conversation, Reid recalled Prince saying, "You know what the elevator is, right?" When Reid responded, "No, what's the elevator?" Prince replied, "The elevator is the devil." This statement haunted Reid, especially given the context of Prince's death. These eerie circumstances have fueled public speculation, with many believing Prince's outspoken nature against the industry might have played a role in his demise. Prince, undeniably one of the most influential musicians in history, had a remarkable career spanning more than 4 decades. His legendary status is underscored by the extraordinary achievement of selling over 100 million records worldwide. Prince's global influence extended beyond music to film and fashion. His versatility as an artist was unmatched, challenging traditional gender norms and breaking racial stereotypes. His bands often featured talented female members, and he continuously championed women within the music industry. However, his dedication to women's empowerment also sparked rumors and speculations, contributing to his growing disillusionment with the industry. Throughout the 1990s, Prince engaged in open conflicts with the music industry, resorting to protest by etching the word slave onto his cheek and adopting an unpronounceable glyph as his name. These bold actions expressed his profound dissatisfaction with the major label system. He famously said, "Record contracts are just like slavery. I would tell any young artist, don't sign." In a 1996 interview with the Los Angeles Times, Prince revealed a longing to have pursued an entirely different career, saying, "If I knew the things I know now, I wouldn't be in the music industry." If Prince were an emerging artist in 2022, he would likely have thrived in the contemporary music landscape, where artists enjoy more autonomy and are not as reliant on major labels. Prince, with his musical ingenuity and entrepreneurial mindset, proved that artists could be both creative powerhouses and astute entrepreneurs. challenging the traditional belief that such decisions should be exclusively dictated by corporate executives. Prince's image extended to his provocative style, with his music becoming synonymous with intimate, bedroom-friendly melodies. We perceive him, in his own renowned words, as an individual of immense allure and magnetism. The interplay between sensuality and religion has historically been a source of tension, particularly with the Catholic Church. Adding to the intrigue, there's a fascinating story about Prince shelving an album due to a negative experience with ecstasy. His Black Album was supposed to drop in 1987, but right before its release, he pulled the plug. Insiders suggest that Prince believed releasing it would have a malevolent influence, expressing that he couldn't unleash it on the world. The album eventually saw the light of day in 1994. Prince's enigmatic nature and statements have led some to believe he may have predicted his own death. His brief interaction with social media included his last Instagram post just before his passing. This post featured a picture of him along with the since-deleted message, "Just when you thought you were safe." Given Prince's tendency for mysterious pronouncements, some conspiracy-minded individuals on the internet have interpreted this message to suggest that he might have had a premonition or sense of impending danger. However, such interpretations are speculative and not based on concrete evidence. Some individuals have suggested that Prince may have predicted his own death during his final public appearance at a party held at Paisley Park, shortly after receiving treatment for an overdose. Just days before his passing, Prince reportedly told those in attendance, "Wait a few days before you waste any prayers." This statement has fueled speculation and interpretations that he might have had a foreboding sense of his impending death. However, it's important to note that these interpretations are based on the circumstances surrounding his final days and remain speculative. The reality is that Prince died after taking what he thought was Vicodin, but was actually a counterfeit painkiller laced with fentanyl. A Minnesota prosecutor announced that there would be no criminal charges filed in Prince's death. One fan commented, "The industry has been taking out artists for a long time now. MJ, Prince, Whitney, etc. When you no longer want to play by their rules, this is your end, or they will destroy you in front of millions. This industry is very evil." Another fan wrote, "It's heartbreaking to think of such an icon being in a position of helplessness, knowing they were coming for him and everyone around him was wicked. As soon as he got ownership back from his music, they got him." That's all for today. See you in the next video. Until then, goodbye.